All right. Happy Friday, everyone. It is Friday. Can you believe it? Short week. Welcome to Finance Friday. This is the show where we transform your relationship with your money. We give you the tips and the general information that you need to grow your money and help you protect your money. So follow us on Twitter at Nova Wealth Management. Management's abbreviated MGMT. Follow me personally at Novakovich Amy. And share this video if you think it's valuable, which you will be, because today I have an awesome guest. 14 years in professional hockey as a center all over the world. Husband and father, has successfully managed his finances. So today we're going to go over his career, what he's doing now, and everything that he has done along the way. Mr. Ryan Vesce, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
Because we're so fortunate to have you right here in Florida now.
Yeah, I love being here.
Right?
This is great.
How long have you been here now?
9 years. I lived down here. I moved down here 2009.
Because you're from New York, right?
Yeah, I'm from New York originally. We moved down here basically to get away from the New York State tax. That was kind of the main reason we moved down here.
That was a smart move.
Yep.
For all of you New Yorkers, which I know there's some of you watching. Hey, Jen. Hey, Ray. All of you New Yorkers, Ray moved from Jersey.
Yeah. Everyone from the Northeast, you come down here, enjoy the weather, and once you get down here, you really don't want to go back up north and get back in that rat race up there. So we enjoy it. We're gonna be here to stay, I think.
Good. And then, but you have been all over the world, though.
Yep, I think we've lived in.
I was counting it.
Yeah,
it was
seven different
countries.
Yep. I think we lived in 7 countries and
oh my goodness,
all over the world playing hockey and moving my wife and kids over.
And your kids are 7, 5, and almost 3.
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
So isn't that nuts?
We had a busy household, but
yeah. Hey Ed. Yeah. So Ryan and I were talking before this because there has been so much, as many of you know, in the sports industry. So much lack of education, I think, around finances. So I really brought in Ryan, too, because he's been successfully managing his finances. And we were talking just before this about how your agent really helped you get connected to the right places, but your parents did, too. Like, will you talk a little bit about that? Like, what did your agent, how did you find your agent?
So basically, I played at Cornell University, graduated in 2004, and I signed with Cornerstone Management. That was my agent, Steve Mountain. He's become a really close friend, an important part of my life. He's done every single deal for me and has been with me every step of the way from the beginning. And he's a real honest, self-made guy. And kind of looking at the way he grew and the way he carries himself, it kind of really shows you how to carry yourself in terms of
for sure. So he
professionally
leads by example.
And financially too. And just being smart with your money and. He's very similar to my dad in that way, and my mom, with how they, manage their money, and we're always investing and not, spending and thinking about.
That's the hard part right there.
Yeah.
Not spending. But like the other hard part that I have to think for you is moving all over the world, though. So what did you do every time you move? Did you just rent? Did you buy?
Yeah, so normally the hockey season is 8 months long, 8 to 9 months long.
Okay.
I usually would sign a contract, depending on where it was. I would go over there before my family, get the house, apartment, or whatever it was set up with the car. We usually rent.
Yeah.
We rent it every time, and because you're only there and you don't know what your contract's going to be the following year, so you don't want to get stuck in a house. And a lot of these countries, you're not really. You don't have a sense of the market really because, I lived in Belarus, Croatia. So it wasn't something
Did you learn these languages?
Yeah, I lived in Russia I played in the Russian league for 6 years. I learned a lot of Russian, but not so much conversationally, more just getting around.
Yeah.
Being able to go to the supermarket, the restaurants, reading menus, stuff like that.
Hey, Mercy.
So,
hey, Eric.
Yeah,
that I think is... Most families probably just take that for granted.
Yeah, it was a great experience. I mean, for sure.
So you look at it as a great experience.
Yeah, every time we went, it's exciting. And now
how does your wife feel about it?
She loved it.
Really?
And there were times that were certainly challenging, especially with the kids.
Were they all born here?
My middle one was born in Helsinki, Finland.
Oh my gosh.
But the other 2 were born in Naples.
Okay.
Yeah. So, with the kids when they get sick, and she showed up one time. I think it was in Russia it was in Belarus. They got in there. I was on the road on a road trip when they arrived.
Oh my gosh.
The kids got sick right away. They didn't know who to call. So it's pretty scary. I think sometimes for my wife and the kids and dealing with that whole transition.
I'm sure.
And she had the brunt of it. I think with we were on the road for 8 days at a time with our road trips, so they were long road trips and they were happening every couple of weeks.
And I complain about having to go out to LA for 4 days.
Yeah,
5 days.
She definitely earned her time to come back and enjoy Florida, I think, for
for sure. What's your wife's name?
Kate.
Yep. Good job, Kate.
Yeah, good job.
Way to go. Go Wives. So you worked for 8 months, and I promise we'll get to sports here too in a minute, but I'm really I have a lot of questions right now. You worked for 8 months.
Yep.
So you only get paid for 8 months?
Yep. So your salary is for 8 months, and then you manage your money over the summer until your next contract.
Right.
Sometimes you're on a 2-year deal, but you still only get paid until April 30th, probably. In Europe, usually April 30th is the last paycheck, and then you manage until August 1st.
And what did you do for 4 months?
Well, you hope to make enough money to support the year, and you got a budget. That's part of it, and I was fortunate where I played in leagues and at the level where the money was okay and wasn't so stressful in the summer.
To handle it year-round.
So, but we set up things, Kate and I, where we didn't overspend, and we really always made big purchases and investments and not in depreciating assets and stuff like that. So
along the way you were purchasing and investing to try to sustain.
Yep.
One of the things I always mention, I'm like, it's your choice if you make your money temporary or if you try to make it more permanent.
Yeah.
So you tried to at least invest along the way in just real estate, or?
Well, I have portfolio investments as well. I'm with JP Morgan.
Got it.
They handle my equities and my whole investment portfolio. But then we have real estate as well. With our first house we bought down here coincidentally in 2009. So we got lucky on that one,
really
because it was like the bottom of the market, not to any foresight by us, but just kind of
the timing
worked out. We got married. We needed to buy a house. It kind of worked out. So we had that one. And then we just built another house in West Bay, and we sold the first house. So right now we have one house, but
very nice.
We're interested in investing in all different areas. I'm looking at a lot of different some businesses, some
I bet, and that's one of the things I want to talk about definitely later is the businesses that you're looking at. But let's shift to your sports career for a minute, because I know everybody wants to talk about that and wants to hear about that. So what are some of your favorite memories? Like looking back, obviously you work to win. That's obvious. But what are some of your favorite wins? Like what are some of your favorite stories?
My first call up to the NHL, I played for the San Jose Sharks. I got called up for 10 games the year before. The next year, that was the first call up of that season. And I went up, and it was in Long Island. So it was where I was from.
Okay.
My parents still lived there. It was the whole friends and family. There was, everyone was there. My wife's family, my family, right? I was playing, generally on the fourth line.
So could they all go to the games and everything?
They went there. Yeah, we had like 50 people at the game, my fans.
Oh my gosh.
So like
your whole section.
So then we had that game. I was generally playing like, not big minutes. I was a call-up guy who was up and down pretty much in the minors mostly. But I scored in that game, got moved up to the top line, played the next night in the Garden, in Madison Square Garden. All my buddies who worked in the city, all their friends are there, so we had a big crowd there. Scored again in the Garden, and I was on a little bit of a roll. We went to Tampa. I scored in Tampa.
Oh man!
So I got on a little bit of a streak there.
A hot streak.
Yeah. So that was probably my best memory, just being in the NHL and being, productive.
Yeah.
Having the family and friends all there to be there with me. We all went out after the game, and it was like this big, celebration of my career. So
yet you were separated, but you weren't far away.
Yeah.
Like you were in the professional sports, where a lot of people travel and a lot of people have, you're far, but you were close.
Yep. So that was cool. Yep. That was probably my best memory.
And what is probably the most heartbreaking memory that you have, do you think? Or do you not want to think about that?
Yeah, well, no.
A learning experience.
I would say, So over in 2010, I had major back surgery.
Oh, my
6 months later, I had major hip surgery. So I was recovering for 6 months, got back on the ice. My hip was still bothering me. They thought it was because of the back. It wasn't.
Because of the back, yeah.
It was a torn labrum and FAI impingement. So
and you were playing with that?
I had another 6 month recovery, so I missed like a full year. Had to come back. I actually had pretty good statistics. I signed a really good deal still, so I was expected to be really good, and I wasn't. When I came back, I was terrible. So that was pretty frustrating
because I don't know why they would expect you to come out of the gate and be great.
Yeah, well, if they're paying you, they expect you to produce. And,
I guess.
I was in Sweden, and the media attention there was really intense, and
really,
yeah, really intense. So that was a difficult, time, but I bounced back.
Being in the media, I mean, obviously today the media has a completely bad rap, but so even this was 8 years ago.
Yep.
It wasn't good then either.
Yep.
And it's not just the U.S. It's all over.
Yeah, so they take their.
That's good if everybody hears that.
Yeah, they take
I
their
see some
seriously.
comments. I'm not time to move it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, hi guys. Yeah, we're here with Ryan Vesce, and we are talking all about just his sports career, financially, what he does, investing, and we're about to get into, obviously, his transition, too, because you're coming kind of, I don't want to say to the end, but you're transitioning.
Yep, I had a concussion this season, so I think it's, the career is
You've had concussions before, no?
Yeah, this was my third registered concussion. Oh. So this is not, looking so positive at this point for the next season, but we're looking to transition, into some other things, and we're keeping our options open with that. But like you said, you have to kind of plan for that, and we've done our saving over the years, and we're prepared right now to take a little semi-retirement and enjoy, not the rush of moving and playing hockey, and spend some time with the kids a little more.
Fast life. Time probably goes by pretty fast.
Yeah.
When you're moving everywhere and and building a family,
absolutely.
And switching locations completely.
Yeah, the career went by pretty quick.
I bet.
14 years, but that's I don't really look back. I've always been ready for the next phase. Even when you leave college, I was ready to go play pros.
When you leave college, though, so do you think about it when you leave college? And I know some of my other athletes that I talk to don't really think about it, but you think, this is my career that's only going to be X amount of years. It might be 5, it might be 10, it might be fortunate like you to have a very long career. Mm-hmm. But do you think about what's after the career? Like when you got out of college, did you ever think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I was singularly focused on making the NHL. That was I was dead focused on that when I came out of college. But
and you made that goal?
In 2006, me and my college roommate started a clothing company.
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
really?
And we grew it to wholesaling our products in over 100 stores, and we sold in 2010. So
you sold it in 2010?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
So
you were always thinking about it?
Yeah, so we had this idea at the time to come out with a different kind of shirt as our flagship product. We ended up hitting the market with it. It did
Is
very
this
well.
one of the shirts?
No. This shirts are not. No. So, yeah.
Showing it off.
Yeah. No, I should be probably.
Yeah, probably.
I probably should be. But,
that's okay. That's okay. But so that was really quick.
So we got our background in entrepreneurship and business, which is obviously helpful now. Yeah. More helpful than probably I realized back then. How it is transitioning out of hockey to have that experience is certainly a good thing to have. So yeah, we did that, and that was good for us. And my college roommate now is looking at he's moved on. After we sold the company, he wanted to go back to school. He went to Kellogg Business School. Yeah. And then he ended up running Medline's surgical glove division for the last 5 years, and now he's pretty close to buying a company, another medical company now. Yeah. So he and I are on the same page. Yeah, we got some stuff going on, but.
So I could see you're probably not going to do one thing, like in your transition. You're probably going to do a little bit. You mentioned maybe coaching in Prague, right?
Yeah, well, I was in coaching in Europe is definitely an interest of ours because we love it over there. We love the lifestyle for the kids. We love being able the simple life. It's very it's a very simple life, and it's cool. It's really cool over there, and we've become accustomed to going to new cities, and it's kind of like an addiction where you go to a new place, you check out the new restaurants. It's like exciting, every 8 months, as much as it sounds kind of crazy. Some people want to stay in one place their whole lives, but after you do it for so long, you kind of miss it. Even from being home for a few months, you're like excited to go do that. So I don't know, coaching
like
is
semi-vacation, but yet not really.
Yeah, I mean, it's challenging, I think, for my wife sometimes, but
I bet.
It's it is. It's like, especially now as a coach or going back as a coach, the demands of your body are a lot different than what you need to.
Well, that was one of the questions: is did you ever get any fights?
Yeah, only a couple though. I wasn't very tough. So
really?
I had 4 fights in my career, and I would say all of them lasted less than 10 seconds. I would say.
Oh, really?
Both fell to the ground pretty quickly in all of them. But
one of your concussions?
No. Never took. a concussion with one of the punches, but
Yeah.
I was lucky. I was more of a
As a center, though, I mean, you probably have. I don't want to compare it to business too much, but you're trying to always look behind you, on the sides, in front of you. You're looking all around, right? You're not focused on just one position.
Right.
You're all over the place.
Right. Yep.
So maybe that kind of plays a role in your.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to be focused in one direction. When whatever happens.
That's not bad though, to be pulled in different directions.
But right now I'm just taking my time. I've been talking with a lot of different people, and really we have a couple.
Buddy, sorry about that. I had a call come through. I thought I put it on Do Not Disturb. Yeah. So if you go like the business route,
yep.
You could be business owner, but then you could also be public speaker.
Yep.
A lot of athletes go into public speaking.
Yep.
Do you find that too?
I do, but I have a little bit of a hard time with the self-promotion aspect of it. I just feel...
It's not really self-promotion. It's that a lot of people are interested in just hearing your experience because that's not what they're used to. I don't know.
True, but I think in order to be like successful at having a public speaking career, you need to really be out there with social media and doing that stuff. And that was really not... I don't even have Facebook. It was on Facebook Live. I don't even have Facebook, Instagram, none of that. I've been completely removed from social media.
Really?
Yeah. And,
you have a Facebook page, I think that's awesome.
I think people fans made Facebook pages, but that's not...
really?
Yeah. And we've been kind of in the focus of like the fans and the media for so long. It's nice to just maybe step back and, build something again or do something like that. That's awesome. Not all about me, maybe about something bigger.
So do you want your kids to play hockey?
I would like my son to if he wants to, but I'm really interested in whatever they like. Whatever they like. And my middle daughter really enjoys figure skating. Okay. So she's been doing that. That's right now it looks like her number one passion. But
see, that's interesting because a lot of athletes want their kids to follow in that same
direction. I don't care.
So that's good that you're...
I don't care. I think I like all sports, and I think sports are important for keeping kids on track and having teaching them life lessons about discipline and focus and teamwork and all the leadership and all the things that goes into playing sports, especially as you get to the higher levels. And it gave me an experience and an opportunity with my life that, if I didn't have it, it'd be much different.
It'd be totally different.
And just the experiences we've had because of sports, it's like, I can't take that out. I would never change that.
That's interesting that you say like all the life lessons. Like, what would you say one of the biggest life lessons that you learned just in your sports career? Because I feel like a lot of athletes, like, you're almost removed from reality a little bit. Like, you're not in the everyday struggle. It's just different. Do you know what I mean?
It's different, but a lot of people don't realize the stress and the what goes into being a professional hockey player and to have a career at it. It's one thing to play 2-3 years.
The pressure has to be unbelievable.
The pressure is you're 5 games of not scoring away from being cut at any time. You're one bad year away from career being over at all times.
All the time.
So the pressure is really enormous, and
perform under that pressure.
What I've learned is really how to prepare the mind, prepare your focus, be able to overcome obstacles, be able to get rid of self-doubts, and really get your mind in a place where you can be successful.
So psychologically,
and that's huge, and I think it translates to everything,
anything,
right? And then,
just like in business, you're going to have your ups and your downs, or in the market. For all those watching, that when you're in the market, you have your ups and your downs, but just. I think in sports you probably learn that more than anything, the psychology of it.
You do, and because you have the direct feedback from the game when you let it eat, you let it eat at you, and you have this cycle of self-pity or downward thoughts, it directly impacts your performance, right? And when you have the other way, when you're feeling confident and you're thinking positively, and all of a sudden you start playing better, the game's easier, things come to you.
Yeah.
So we get that lesson. Some guys never figure it out, but most people, I think the successful people figure that out quickly, and that's one of the reasons that makes them successful. When you look at like athletes, the best in the world, like Sidney Crosby, LeBron James,
are just so dedicated and so focused.
And they can flip it from a bad performance to greatness.
That's
right,
true.
and how to let that all go and still keep that confidence and about themselves.
But when you're on a team with all these different personalities and all these different egos, how do you manage that? And then like Jim mentioned, like the Vegas team, when you've got people coming from all over the place with all kinds of different backgrounds, trying to come together as a brand new expansion team. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But when you're dealing with so many different teammates, how does that affect you?
Well, you have to prepare yourself,
how do you come over
right?
that?
You can't control how other people prepare, right? So you have to really prepare yourself, because at the end of the day, you're the only one getting paid for what you do, not right? Not anybody else. But you are supported by your line mates, your teammates, right? And especially in hockey, because it's a team game, right? So a lot of your leadership capabilities will be designed around making sure your teammates are also in a good place mentally, so that they can help you perform as well.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah, it's true, and you would think about that in an office setting too, though, right? Like, you have someone on the team who's going through something, maybe outside of work, maybe it's in work,
and they bring it
in, right? And it's affecting now your performance, on your portfolio or whatever you're managing, and it's like
just in business,
you need to manage them to bring their
that's an awesome point.
Get their mind in the right place so that they can perform for themselves and for the team. Right? So it's the same,
because they depend on you.
It's exactly the same thing. So
we're here with Ryan Vesce. We're talking just in general about his sports career, how he's done in his finances, managed only getting paid 8 months out of the year at a time, and budgeting. We're talking about his transition, just everything to do with what is going on right now in his life. So this is super interesting to me, because I am not a pro athlete, but I do deal with athletes. And so what would you say a piece of advice that you could give right now to athletes that might watch this, that are either struggling in their career in general, or maybe they're injured, or maybe they're thinking they might have to make that transition? What's something that you can offer them? What do you think they need to hear right now?
Well, for someone who's injured or is thinking, or someone who's not at the top of their game and sees the end of the road coming, hopefully you made you started investing early in things so that you would have a little nest, but maybe if you do not have that, it's never too late to start doing that. And I think that's really important. You're in this for the rest of your life. It's not just about when your career ends, right? So I think
it's funny, career ending, but 30s.
Yeah, you're 30, 36, and career's over.
60 years to live.
So you have the rest of your life to live, and hopefully you can make more money in that stretch of time than you did playing your professional sport. But you really take a look at like what you're spending your money on. Do you have depreciating assets all over the place? That's a bad sign usually. Right? Are you invested in things? Are you spending money on things that increase in value or not?
Or not.
Your money is always competing against itself in some sense. Where are you in something that's generating 2 to 3% return, or are you invested in something that's generating 8 to 10% return, right? Are you using
at least has the possibility?
Are you taking money out of the thing that's invested that is 8 to 10% return to pay down,
spend it on something
to pay down debt, or using a line of credit at 2.5% to pay down the debt?
Did you ever get into like major debt, like even when in the beginning?
No.
Really?
So like right away,
debt is the key.
We lived modestly, and we. It's not like I say that we live modestly. We have a great house, and we have. It sounds ridiculous, It's like, but really, we've been on the mindset, and my wife too, and she's right on board with the way we both think the same way about this. She's not going out there spending, and we really just try to keep investing as much as we can. We try to keep putting away. We try to get the kids taken care of college-wise, and get that all set up so we don't have to worry about that later on as this comes to an end. And we did that. I mean, I always thought also I wanted parallel lines of income coming in. So I had the hockey, and then I had the business.
So you always have income-producing assets.
So you have the assets, but I also had,
the business income.
The business income as well. So my investments incomes as well as the business income. So I was trying to always create situations where I could have multiple lines
of business.
Right, that bring in
multiple lines of income.
Multiple lines of income. And I think
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think is important. And
that's the key right there, I think.
If you're young, don't spend your bonus on a car. That's probably the dumbest thing.
That's the biggest piece of advice
I would say.
Right there.
I tell all my teammates that. They always don't listen. They always buy sick cars, and it's crazy.
Like it's depreciating assets.
I was driving, I drove a Nissan Xterra, and I was probably in my 6th or 7th year pro too. I still had the same Nissan Xterra I had in college. And, my buddies were like, what are you driving? Guys on the team, what are you driving? You're driving like a Nissan Xterra. But I was like, whatever, I don't care. I was only competing with myself. Like, I don't care what like you think.
That's a big mindset thing too when you're competing with yourself.
Yeah.
Because so many people compare themselves to others. That's why they get the big cars.
Right.
They're
You're always keeping up with the Joneses,
yes.
right? And that's like right now. Our household cars right now are a minivan. We have 3 kids.
Hey, I am all about the minivan.
And then we had a 2004 BMW station wagon that I sold this year for like $5,000 or something.
Oh
crazy.
My gosh!
But, so we don't even have a second car. We're looking right now to get a second car, but
that's nuts. That
just the fact that I'm sure people looked at me while I was driving that car up and just be like, what is this guy doing?
But that's the confidence that you have, that you don't care. Like,
no, I didn't care. I loved it.
Comparing yourself to yourself.
Yeah, I loved it. I didn't care.
Well, and see, that's the numbness that you get probably from like the media constantly trying to, do whatever they can to generate news on you or whatever. And then you get that thick skin. Or you're affected by it. It's one way or the other. Yeah. You're either super affected by it or you get that thick skin.
Yeah, and people always seem to care what other people think, and it's part of our generation. And maybe it's because I don't have social media. Maybe it's because I don't see people on Instagram showing off their stuff, or maybe because that's why.
You don't get to show your feelings to everybody.
I have
at every given moment.
I have no. I don't feel one way or another about
right?
anything that other people are doing.
See, is this the stuff that your agent prepares you for? Your agent, does your agent help?
Yeah, he will help with guidance, right? He's always there, and he does with a lot of his clients. But
like, stay off of social media.
No, yeah, that's a big. That's usually one of the team.
Oh, really?
Now they have the team comes in with their representative, and they have a big speech about social media every season. You represent yourself and the team. Pretty much,
the team,
so
please
don't do anything,
don't
silly.
do anything stupid.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Oh yeah. So one of the questions? Did most of your teammates get financial advice from your agents, or were they on their own?
Yeah, I think it depends. I think some people have their agents doing a good job. I think some people, it's really a lot of it's how you grow up, right? If you don't grow up with anything, it's very difficult not to get a check for, $100,000 bonus and not spend it on a car. Right? Or not buy something.
Or I feel like that's the opposite in me, because my mom really has always had issues spending money.
Yeah.
And so now I'm crazy about like spending money, because I never, ever, ever wanted to be in that situation.
Right.
I told myself from 13, I'm going to go to work because I never, ever, ever want to be in that situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like it can go both ways. I mean, I know you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that.
Yeah.
And then there's other guys who grew up in different situations where they understand education plays a part, right? Financial education.
For sure. Do they do that in the league?
They don't, and you don't get it even much
at Cornell?
Growing up in college. Like, we had personal finance at Cornell and another finance course, but
that you had to take, or that you elected to take?
No, we had it. I think we had to take finance.
Oh, good.
There wasn't personal finance, actually. It was just finance.
Okay.
And but I mean, that was more about business finance than actual like personal finance.
Right.
I think you realize when you have real bills to pay, and you have money, and you decide what you want to do.
That's the part that like in the beginning, some of them don't have the real bills to pay.
Yeah. But you have to have the long-term vision.
Yeah, right.
Right? That you want to like save for long-term. Like, this contract is only, one step in the in the process of long-term. So you can either take that money, like you said earlier, and spend it.
Right.
Or you can take it and invest it in something.
That's your choice.
Yeah, it's your choice.
Yeah, you look back, there's no excuse. Yeah.
So I'd say, get some people you trust around you that can advise you if you don't know. Start to build relationships and meet with a lot of financial people, advisors, and see which one you feel
matches up best with you.
You feel right with. And,
that's good. That's awesome.
Listen.
Suggest he should be with Tony Robbins' guy. He's got good energy.
Thanks.
Yeah, right? Tony Robbins' guy. Who do you use for your mental empowerment? I mean, did you have anybody's particular that spoke to you?
Not in particular. I've heard a lot of Tony Robbins stuff
obviously.
Before.
I think everybody.
Not so much. I really had to figure out kind of on my own what, made me get out of slumps and get out of, you have help. You talk to your friends, your wife, right? She did for sure.
Yeah.
And your friends, you lean on, that know you best, and when you're going through this stuff, and maybe one thing
kind of get you back to your
one little thing they say can change everything, right? And, you know, one outlook your wife gives you can change exactly how you wake up the next morning and feel.
Yeah.
Like a totally difference. And all of a sudden, for me, it would be like all of a sudden the puck would start going in the net, where it's like,
and that's good.
It's all because of your brain and your mental, like your ability to like channel
control of it much more than what you think.
Yeah,
right?
It's so true. And so I think that's one of the big keys to sport and life and probably success in general, I think.
And there's nothing better than that. I think I'm going to leave you with that. I think I've kept you long enough. Thank you so much for being here.
Great. Appreciate
Any last things you want to say? I mean, I feel like we covered a lot.
That's good.
That was good. Yeah, I think we need to end there. You guys have an awesome weekend. Thanks. Share this video if you like it, and let me know. Keep sending me your comments and your messages, and I'll reach out to Ryan if you have any other questions. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.